Hi everyone, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am live today to take your questions. So go ahead. Happy Sunday, first of all. I'm here chilling on my back porch, just taking the day in, and I thought I would also check in with you all to take your immigration questions. So go ahead and hi there, LOL. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments. Empress Gels, it's nice to see you. And Bad and Bougie, I love the name. Nice to see you. Donna Little 66, thanks for sharing the live. So go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. I am here to answer your immigration questions, and yes, even on a Sunday. So go ahead, drop your questions in the comments. While your questions come in, I want you to, I'm going to formally introduce myself. To those of you who don't know me, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green cards in the United States as well as their status. So whether you're in the U.S. or you're outside of the U.S., I can represent you as an attorney. So how I can get fast FBI card response, I'm waiting 2 weeks now. So it's not very easy to get it expedited. You will have to contact them and find out if they do offer the expedited track to get that done. Sandeep. LOL 787. Thank you. You too. Have a blessed evening. Thank you. So keep those questions coming. I am here to answer your questions. Anything that's immigration related, I can answer it. So as I was saying, we have Tutti Fruits. My visa was canceled because I traveled to the U.S. and had my son. I used Medicare. So yes, that is something that does happen. Sometimes an officer, just depends on who you get. If they find out that you came with a child and got Medicaid in this case, Medicare, I don't know if you'd qualify, but Medicaid, I know pregnant women, regardless of your immigration status, can use Medicaid. However, that does happen because, they don't like to see that because it's an indication that the intent is to stay in the U.S. So that is also one of them, unfortunately. So Mike, Chicago, USA, how long I-601A takes for approve and how many percent get approved? So it's not necessarily about the percentage, and it's to give you a percent would be to misrepresent what the I-601A is all about. It's a discretionary waiver, meaning that the officer has discretion to approve you based on your circumstances. So if the officer reviews and finds that you will experience extreme hardship, then it will likely be approved. So it's really a case-by-case basis. So the important thing is to make sure that you prepare a good waiver with good evidence, a good brief. So for my clients, I put a brief on top to not only just provide the evidence, but explain the evidence thoroughly and also to make an argument, a good argument for why this qualifies as extreme hardship. Now, the length of time ranges. I've seen as short as 6 months, and I've seen it go as long as 18 months and even 2 years. So it really depends on the service center and the backlog and how much, what's involved in your case. Whether they ask for a request for evidence, that may delay it as well. So Tutti Fruits, the years has passed. So I think you said 10 years has passed. What can I do? So Tutti Fruits, it was canceled. But the next thing that we'd have to find out is, did they charge you with an immigration violation? So did they charge you with misrepresentation? They charge you as a public charge or likely to be a public charge because you took the Medicaid, I think? And we'd have to figure out that first to determine whether you're still, if you are inadmissible, or if they just cancel the visa, but you can always reapply for it. So what you can do is schedule a consultation with me. Schedule the consultation by calling 561-405-4889. We can get in depth and then figure out your options from there. Barman 646, I was abused by my husband and he don't want to marry me. How can I get through? So first of all, you are describing him as your husband, but at the same time you're saying he doesn't want to marry you. There are options available for abused immigrants. If you are the abused spouse of a U.S. citizen, then you could qualify to apply for the green card. So what I would say is get in touch with me because you would be able to apply on your own without your spouse and would not involve him at all. So what I would suggest you do, this is an area that I focus on, and I have experience with. So give me a call at 561-405-4889. We're going to go through the criteria. So the first requirement is that you have to be married. But in some states, we'd have to check if you lived with your husband in that state. If you live together as common law, husband and wife, you could still qualify for this, meaning you weren't married. But if you live together for a number of years, for example, if you live together for 5 years, you would be considered common law. So go ahead and schedule a consultation and let's talk about it. So Ram Persad, hey, my brother sponsored me since 2016 with the new immigration law. How long more to do I have? So it's taking about 14 years for siblings to apply for siblings. With the new law, if you're here in the United States already, now there is no new law that has passed. Keep that in mind. No new law has passed. Nothing has made the sibling sponsoring a sibling any faster. But if the new law passes and you're in the United States as an undocumented immigrant, you could possibly qualify to apply for conditional status without your brother, as long as you meet certain criteria. But keep in mind that while we are very hopeful that this law goes through, and I think the conditions are much better than ever for some sort of immigration reform to happen, especially immigration reform to help undocumented immigrants, we also have to be realistic at the same time, and we have to understand that this is going to take time. It's not going to be immediate. So it's not something you can depend on right now. And the sibling to sibling sponsorship is taking about minimum of 14 years. In India, I believe it is 15 years. Anywhere else in the world is 14 years. In Mexico, it's 22 years. So keep that in mind. Bad and Bougie, how long is the process for a married child filing to come through? So a U.S. citizen parent has to file for a married child. And that process right now, if that person was to file today, would take 12 years. But it really depends on what your priority date is on your receipt notice. Hi there, Chocolate 3185. It's nice to see you. Beckelem, how long does VAWA approval take? Can children be included in this application? What is the age limit? So great question. So right now you're looking at a minimum about 2 to 2.5 years, just depending on what type of relationship you're applying based on. So are you applying based on a relationship to a U.S. citizen versus a permanent resident? It could take longer depending on that, but the good news is you can get a work permit while you wait. So if it does take years, you can get a work permit within a matter of months to provide some relief until you can until you can get to the green card interview. So Brenda Smith, let's see. Okay, Brenda Smith, thanks for sharing the live. Mike Chicago, USA, thanks for the answer. You're welcome. Barman, okay, will do. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Ram Prasad, thank you. And if I'm not in the US as yet, can I still apply when I come? So it depends on, now to qualify for the I-601A, you'll have to have a US citizen or permanent resident spouse or parent who will experience extreme hardships without you. So that is that's the thing that you have to keep in mind. And it is for individuals who are already here without status. So you wouldn't be able to apply for the unlawful presence unless you are without status. So it may, I suggest before you make any moves, Jaram Prasad, get legal advice. Because I noticed you said, can you apply when you get to the United States? You want to make sure that you get legal advice before you make any moves to make sure that you don't come here and get stuck. Chocolate 3185, can you file for your mom with a green card? No, unfortunately, green card holders can't apply for their parents. You'd have to become a U.S. citizen. Mariam Barry, can my daughter come in as citizens when my status changed already? So I filed already for my daughter as a green card holder, but I'm filing for citizenship. Can my daughter come as citizens when my status change? So if your child is under the age of 18 years old at the time that you become a U.S. citizen and your child becomes a permanent resident, then it is possible for them to come in and then become U.S. citizens after they come in as permanent residents. So Chi 76 Town, I got a friend that applied for his 10-year green card, got his 18 months extension, but not the 10-year. So there is a delay right now, and so you have to, it is taking a while. And they can apply for the extension as long as the renewal process is pending. So Tutti Fruits, can you repeat the contact information again? Sure. Hi there, Bonnie. It's 561-405-4889. Mariam Barry, hi there. Okay, thanks so much. You're welcome. You're welcome, Chocolate 3185. You're welcome, J.A. Rampersad. But I'm filing for citizenship. This can my status. So if you're filing for if you haven't received your U.S. citizenship yet, as long as you remain a green card holder, your children cannot automatically get citizenship. So I have filed for my 16-year-old daughter as a green card holder. So when your daughter comes in, it doesn't matter that you're in the middle of the citizenship process. She will not become a citizen until you become a citizen, and she has to be under 18. So Ricky Speng, I'm calling your office tomorrow. Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Now, Ricky, I just want to let you know that the office is open between 8:30 and 6:30. You can call at any time. But what will happen is if you call within the office hours, you'll get the scheduling coordinator who will schedule the consultation with you and take good care of you. If you call the office after hours, for example, if you call right now, you'll get an after hours receptionist who will take good care of you, but will take your name, your information, and then the scheduling coordinator will get back to you on the next business day. So Donna Little, thanks for all the information. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and it's comments like this that keep me going. So thank you for that. Brina Clark Swayze, hi there. Chi 76 Town, you're welcome. Tutti Fruits, you're welcome. David Fraser, how soon after getting married should I apply for a green card after dating for 5 months? So you can get married you can apply for the green card right away. The important thing, though, is to make sure that you gather the evidence, sufficient evidence, to show that your marriage was real. So I can help you with that. Make sure you get legal advice before you get started so you know what you need to do, so you don't make any mistakes or that can cause delays or denials. You can go to the link in my bio where you'll get the phone number. You can visit the website and get the phone number to give us a call or fill out a contact form. But there is no limit on when you can file for the papers after you get married. Hey, what's up? Where are you from? This is American Eagle 64. I am Jamaican. So Bad and Bougie, can you file for a married child even though they overstayed in the U.S.? So only U.S. citizens can file for the married child. And in that case, what will happen is the process is not a quick solution for the child that's overstaying. It takes 12 years to get through the process. So it will not be quick, and because they overstayed, they'll need to apply for forgiveness through what's called a waiver, an unlawful presence waiver. And then again, it depends on what the facts are and what else is involved in them staying here. So keep that in mind. Blessed Child Ali, hello, good evening. Thank you for the information. You're welcome. And thanks for saying hello. Sabi, can I still go to the green card interview? So Sabi, hi there. I had to call cops on my wife due to physical abuse in the past. Now I have an interview coming. Can I still go to the interview with her? So Sabi, if you are still married and you're on good terms, and it would be your decision. That's a hard decision to make. However, at the same time, based on the information you've provided here, you would qualify to apply for the green card on your own without your spouse because of the abuse, especially seeing that you have called the police on her. So I suggest you get legal advice to go over all the details to see if that is the right move for you. But as it is, that's a personal decision that you'll have to make about whether you want to go to the interview with your wife. Seeing that your wife is abusive, would she go to the interview, and could she sabotage your interview? These are some of the things that you have to think about, because it may get a little more complicated if you go into the interview and then get denied because your wife didn't cooperate or sabotage the interview, which I've seen that happen. So you have to make that decision on your own. But and another thing is, your wife would have to be a U.S. citizen. The fact that you're going to the interview in the United States, so it's telling me she is a citizen, because you must be going through the adjustment of status process. So give me a call, get legal advice before you go in. But based on this information, there is what's called the VAWA, where you could apply. You would still have to submit a new application, and then you could possibly ask them to put a hold on your adjustment of status application while that other new application is pending. But keep in mind that it's going to be a new process. It's going to be a new application process. So keep those questions coming. Can a sibling file for a sibling? So yes, a U.S. citizen sibling can file for another sibling, but it's not going to be a quick process. It takes a minimum of 14 years. For example, in Jamaica, it's 14 years. In Mexico, it's 22 years. So it's not a quick solution. So these are all great questions. Brina Clarks, Swayze, thanks for following. So Blessed, how long after your interview for you to receive your green card? So I have seen it vary. So my cases, all of them have gotten their green card within weeks, like 2 weeks to 4 weeks, they've gotten the green card. No problem. But I'm noticing a pattern where some people, they apply on their own. They didn't submit the right information or the right evidence. And so the officer gets that at the interview, and it's taking their green card process is taking much longer because of that. So I would say one thing I want to say is make sure you submit a great application from the get-go. Meet all the evidence, the requirements for the evidence, and make sure you meet all the criteria so that there are no delays when it comes to the interview, because I find that is where the problem lies with the cases that I've dealt with in consultations where I talk to people who are experiencing long wait times. Is the root cause I find is when they first initially filed, they didn't file with the evidence, or they didn't file with enough evidence, and then the officer is spending more time reviewing after the interview. So August Stevens, hello, thank you for doing this. Is there anything for those who already applied for asylum in Biden? So no, and right now the asylum applications are very delayed, but there's nothing new yet. What you can do is follow me, and I assure you when something new happens, I'll let you know. Now, if you're talking about the new law that Biden has proposed, unfortunately, there's no movement on that. It's highly controversial, and so that's the reason it has been at a standstill. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I am being realistic. I am that this is going to be a continuous fight until something happens, and I'll definitely scream from the mountaintops when it happens. Sapkota, hey, I got my EAD approved today. Awesome, great, thanks for sharing that. That is great, and that can make such a big difference, when you get that work permit, to be able to use that, to get settled until you can complete the process. So Nats live long. She is a citizen, and I am unmarried. So if you're over 21 and I think this would be, is this the sibling? I'm not sure. Nats, I don't remember seeing your question. Let me see. So I didn't see your previous question, but if you're talking about a sibling, then it's about 14 years. But if you're talking about a parent, it's about 5 to 6 years. If you're over 21, if you're under 21, it could range from 9 months to 18 months. Kate Timmer, how long does it take after I file? Do I get an SSN and work permit? It depends on what you're filing for, but it takes, and if you qualify for it, but as long as you do, it's taking about 6 to 8 months right now. Is a 10 or 2 year given after green card interview a day to 2 years wedding anniversary? So if you've been married for over 2 years, then you will get the 10 year. But if you've been married for under 2 years, then you're going to get the 2 year green card. So if you meet all criteria and got the signed letter. So mom applied, so that's live long. Mom applied for me 2018, and we have not heard back yet. Can I try and get a work permit? So with the work permits, no, not live long. I don't know how old you are, but if you're over 21 and you're in the United States, you wouldn't be able to, and you're out of status, you wouldn't be able to qualify to apply for the green card in the United States. This is only for individuals who are under 21 and unmarried. So, and if you have not filed the adjustment of status process, then you wouldn't qualify for the work permit. So it all depends on what's going on with you. I would really like to schedule a consultation with you to further look into your facts and advise you accordingly. But it depends. If you're under 21 and unmarried, your mom filed for you, then there is a way to get the work permit if you file the adjustment of status application and then file the work permit. Otherwise, you possibly would not qualify. It just depends. Shanoy Mackenzie, I'm married. If my mom filed for me, how long does it normally take? I'm December 23. So unfortunately, U.S. citizen parents filing for their married children is taking about 12 years right now. So Nats Live Long, we applied in 2018 and have not heard anything yet. It depends on what category you're in. Maybe you received a receipt notice, but you haven't received anything else, because these applications take longer if you're over 21. David Fraser, and Nats Live Long, I urge you to get legal advice. Give my office a call, schedule a consultation, and then we can go over everything to determine why it's taking so long and what you should expect. That's very important, because if you're talking about applying for the work permit, then you want to make sure you qualify for that. Because also, if you don't qualify for the work permit, you're here in the United States and you're applying for the green card and you've overstayed, then you're going to have to also look at whether you will need a waiver, because if you don't qualify for the green card while you're in the U.S., you'll have to go to your home country and complete the green card process there. But first, you'll need forgiveness for overstaying. So it could be a little more complicated depending on your situation. Sabi0701, you're welcome. Harry, marriage-based green card interview. Okay, so let's see. So David Fraser, after getting married, can you still work while waiting for your green card interview? Yes, if you're going through the adjustment of status process, that means you're applying for the green card in the U.S. and if you qualify for it. So Harry, so I saw that. I just see the last part, which says marriage-based green card interview, but let me see if I see the rest. So Taisha, a British citizen can obtain a work permit or social security. What's the procedure? No, so a British citizen has to go through the same process as everyone else to obtain a work permit or a social security. So they have to qualify through family, through an employer, through humanitarian means to be able to get a work permit. I am Todd Jr. Thanks for following. Emmanuel, thanks for following. Donna Little, you're welcome. My apologies, I missed a question and answer about a parent sponsoring a child. Can you repeat? So Donna Little, I think yours was way back. So a parent who is sponsoring, so a U.S. citizen parent who is sponsoring a child under 21 and unmarried will take priority, and they can apply for the green card in the United States as long as they had a visa when they were coming in, even if they overstayed the visa. A U.S. citizen parent can file for a child over 21 and unmarried. That's taking about 5 to 6 years. A green card parent can file for their unmarried son or daughter under 21. That's taking a shorter time, about 2 years. But if they file for a son or daughter who's over 21 and must still be unmarried, that's taking about 5 to 6 years as well. Let me know if I answered your question, but if not, can you rephrase the question since your question was so way up? Hello, I live in Dubai. How easily can I relocate to the U.S.? Well, you, Charles Tourism, you'll need to qualify in some way. So the best thing to do is give me a call at 561-405-4889. We can look through your situation and determine whether you qualify for something in the U.S. It just all depends. If you qualify through family, if you qualify through an employer, whether you want to live here temporarily or permanently. Max is 16. My cousin has shoplifting case and he get married to a U.S. citizen. Does it affect in the interview? So great question. It depends on the facts. Generally speaking, shoplifting is not usually a crime that would render someone inadmissible, but anything that has to do with criminal issues is definitely going to hinge on the facts, the state that they're in, because some states, depending on the type of crime that they've been charged with, some states may categorize it the way that they categorize it. Under immigration law, they could find that it is a crime involving moral turpitude, which could make them inadmissible and could affect their ability to get the green card. So it's very important to look over the facts, get legal advice, get an attorney on it. I can't stress enough, when it comes on to these types of issues, criminal issues, very important to get an attorney involved. Don't minimize, oh, it was just shoplifting, because what seems really simple and minor, like, a misdemeanor in the regular world, in the immigration world, it shockingly can be a big deal. It's really shocking how something so small can be a big deal in immigration. So very important for you to get an attorney on that case, for your cousin to get an attorney on their case. Katie Murr, filing for marriage with U.S. citizen, married for 2 months now. So congratulations. And I have had clients we filed their application a week before they got married, and everything has turned out fine. So there's no limit on when you can apply. However, but I want to stress that it's very important to make that application very good. Show, for example, during the courtship, make sure that you present evidence showing how long ago you knew each other. You have to come with very good evidence to convince the officer that you have a bona fide relationship and marriage. Nats live long. So let's see. And hang tight. I see a ton of questions. So hang tight. I'm getting to your question. Hang tight while I scroll through. So my mother applied for me. Nats live long. Sabrina Busy. Thanks for the follow. Is it easier for someone to get their papers if their spouse is in the military? So if the spouse is in the military and is a U.S. citizen, there is something called parole in place that would allow them to get a work permit, and then you could apply for the adjustment of status at the same time. So that's one perk for U.S. citizen military members. Mambi Kita 4, thanks for sharing. Sean, how can you get a green card approval? Is you have overstayed your visa? So there are certain individuals that can apply for the green card, even if they've overstayed, as long as the violation is just overstaying and it doesn't involve other types of violations like misrepresentation or criminal issues. But just overstaying, so those individuals are immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. Those are going to be the spouse of a U.S. citizen, the parent of a U.S. citizen, and keep in mind that the parent of a U.S. citizen has to be sponsored by a U.S. citizen child over 21 and over, and the child of a U.S. citizen who is under 21 and unmarried. Those are the individuals that, if they came in with a visa, overstayed, they would be able to gain the green card, because the officers turned a blind in the law. It is in the law that they are not punished for overstaying these specific individuals. If you are not in that category, then you likely will not qualify to adjust status unless you're doing it through VAWA. If you're abused or mistreated by your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse. If you're under 25, your parent, or if you're a parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21 and up, then you could qualify for VAWA. Even if you came in without a visa, if you came in without any papers and it's linked to the mistreatment that you experienced, you could get it through VAWA. Otherwise, it is only these individuals, immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. I'm a refugee and my green card has taken more than 2 years and still not received. So unfortunately, there is a backlog. Hang tight, make sure you continue to contact them to make sure nothing is pending on your side that you have to provide to them. Paper futuristic. How can I renew my residency? I left America before my green card was issued. So that is going to be a little complicated because now if you received your green card, if you may be a permanent resident. However, if you left and you continue to live outside of the United States before it was issued, there's a chance that you could have, they have you as an abandoned green card. You abandoned your green card. It all depends on the facts. So go ahead, give me a call, schedule a consultation, and then we can look into what happened and see whether you are a green card holder, whether you need a re-entry permit, and what the circumstances are. Smiling Free Willy, for a U.S. citizen, what supporting documents needed petitioning a sibling with a daughter? So usually there is evidence to show that you are in fact siblings. So you'll need your birth certificate to show maybe your parents or one of your parents' name on your birth certificate, and then the name on your sibling's birth certificate. There are also specific instructions on the I-130, which is the form that you file that gives the specific evidence that's required. But that would be one of the main things is your birth certificate, your sibling's birth certificate, proof that your sibling is a U.S. citizen, so proof of their status, and then the sibling's daughter's birth certificate. But that may come later when the National Visa Center is ready for the interview. Sandeep, your experience, how long take for FBI fingerprints? I need for VAWA. So in this case, it could take 4 weeks, but it all depends on whether the FBI is backed up on fingerprints. Go ahead and contact them directly to figure out the status of your case. Shahzada. Another thing, Sandeep, is when you're looking at now the FBI is one good way. However, there's also the way to provide through police clearance letters at the local level or at the state level. So you don't necessarily just have to get it from the FBI. You could get it at at the state you are living. So you have to get the police clearance letters from the jurisdiction, all jurisdictions that you have lived in the past 3 years. So if the FBI is giving you a problem, like unless USCIS has specifically requested the fingerprints from the FBI, there are other ways to get the police clearance letter without going through the FBI. So Shahzada 0360, I'm a refugee and my green card has taken more than 2 years and still not received. So go ahead and check with them to make sure there's nothing on your end that they're waiting on. So Lucky Gotra 823, I want to invite my family from India on my daughter's birthday. I'm a permanent resident. So you can always invite them, but they're going to have to go and get their own visa to come to the United States. It's likely going to be a B2 visa, and they're going to have to show that despite that they have strong ties to their home country to be able to come to the United States and return. So strong ties mean that they have commitments that they have to return to in India. property, businesses to run, debt, commitments, school, other family members. These are examples of strong ties to your home country. Unfortunately, the invitation, it could show the reason that they're coming to the United States, but unfortunately, it's not going to be the thing that causes their application to be approved. Shazada, I'm a refugee. So Shazada, I believe I answered this. Go ahead and contact the USCIS. Make sure that nothing is pending on your end. Donna Little 66, you're welcome. User 01927, last 6 years before. Okay, let's see. I'm already applied for asylum. So asylum is backlogged. It's terrible. So Maxi 16, I believe I answered the question about the shoplifting. It depends on what state they're in, but it can be seen as something that will prevent them from getting the green card, or it may not. But it's very important, especially when it comes down to criminal issues, to get it evaluated by an attorney. Seema Das, thank you for sharing the live. What could happen if you divorce with a sponsor before getting your green card? So it all depends on why you divorce. One thing is, if you divorce and you've been divorced for less than 2 years and you were in an abusive situation where your sponsor mistreated you, then you could possibly apply through VAWA to get the green card on your own without them. Very important for you to get legal advice so you don't miss the chance to get the green card, especially if you've already been divorced. You want to make sure that you check your rights, make sure that, and the clock is ticking once you've been divorced, because you can only qualify to apply for the green card on your own if you've been divorced for less than 2 years. So Blessed Child Ali, if you have all the criteria for your interview and get the signed letter, how does it take to get? So with this, if you meet all the criteria for your interview and get the signed letter, so Blessed Child Ali, I'm not sure what kind of interview you're talking about. Just let me know, and what the signed letter is. Myrtle Smith, can your child file for a parent if they came in the country illegally? If yes, how long? So they can, but what will happen is the parent would still have to go through a waiver process. And to qualify for the waiver, the parent would have to themselves have a U.S. citizen spouse or parent themselves, a U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse or parent. So it's very narrow. Get legal advice, figure out if there are any other options available. Nia M20, thanks for following. Sandeep, I believe I answered your questions, and you can go ahead and contact them directly to figure out where they are with your fingerprinting card. All right, so hang tight. I see a ton of questions coming in. I'm getting to your questions, so hang tight. Quick question, can a U.S. citizen sponsor their sibling who is already 22? Yes. So there's no age limit for a U.S. citizen to sponsor their sibling. 2008 Benz 123. Thanks for following. Neg Patience Nan. She's overstay of her visa. So hi Miss. Hope everything is good. Thank you. Please tell me, what should I do help someone? She's overstay her visa. What should I do to help her? So if you are not her, if you don't qualify as a spouse, as a parent, then it would be hard for you to assist. She can contact me to see if there are any options that would be available to her. Wisby's World, my sister overstayed her B2. Would that be a problem of getting green card if her parents were U.S. citizen? So if she's under 21 and unmarried, then she can apply for the green card through the adjustment of status process as long as she qualifies in every other way. Otherwise, she would have to go through a waiver process. I highly suggest that your sister and the parent, U.S. citizen parents, schedule a consultation, and then let's go through all the facts to figure out which option would be best, which one she would qualify for. Anish, thanks for following. Mariam, hi, my son sponsored me last year, February. He didn't get any papers yet. Can you give me any reasons why? Because now the best thing to do is contact them directly and let them know that you haven't received anything. Find and have your son call and figure out if it is something went wrong, if they have it but you didn't get the receipt notice. So that's the first thing. But last year was a crazy year, and he filed right at the time that we had the massive shutdowns, and so it may be related to that. So make sure your application didn't get lost. Ali Bluetooth, my stepson's federal court date keeps getting pushed back. I'm so sorry for that, and I'm not sure if it's an immigration case that's going through federal court. But yeah, that is one of the frustrations with the court system. J Jambo 7, what if they say you late at NVC? So it all depends on what happened there. Can you apply for permanent resident card extension if it was expired 3 years ago due to medical? So it all depends. I would want to schedule a consultation. You should be able to still apply to renew your green card, even though it's been 3 years. But I want to know what exactly happened to be able to advise you accurately, because everything I'm saying here is general information. And so, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure unless I know fully the circumstances involved and where you are. Are you outside of the U.S. or in? Smiling Free Willy, thank you so much. I'm about to apply my application. Very good. Good luck, and please make sure you get legal advice. I'm here to assist you. So Ranian Gel, I overstayed my visa 3 years now. Okay, so it really depends. It really depends on whether you qualify. So if you may qualify for status, it just all depends on if you qualify through family or through other some means. Mambikita, she's scared to file for divorce, not to get deported. I understand. I totally understand that fear. Filing for divorce, it's very rare that somebody will get deported, unless, of course, the family the spouse is threatening to call ICE. But it's very rare that someone gets deported as a result of filing for divorce. But always get legal advice before you make any moves. That is my rule of thumb. Go ahead and you can give me a call at 561-405-4889 and schedule a consultation to make sure that you don't make any wrong moves. Can a green card holder parent sponsor an adult child? How long is the process? As long as that adult child is unmarried. Ranian, I overstayed my visa 3 years now. So there may be options just depending on who you qualify through. Hakuku, what's the worst that could happen if you divorce with a sponsor before getting your green card? It all depends on the circumstances. Mambikita 4, a friend of mine just left her husband for abuse. She got the 2 years green card. Yes. So if she has the 2-year green card, and she would definitely qualify to have her green card, 2-year green card, renewed to a 10-year green card based on what I'm seeing here. It would just be a matter of putting the evidence together to prove it. That's an area I focus on. So go ahead and give me a call at 561-405-4889. Schedule that consultation, and I can definitely get started on that application to make it a good one. So the daughter-in-law cannot assist in the green card process. So usually not directly, no. Blessed Child Ali, Thanks for sharing. User 2355. Hello, how long after the biometrics to get the work permit? So there is a backlog right now, and I'm seeing an average of 6 to 8 months. What could happen if you divorce with a sponsor before getting your green card? Hakuku, it all depends on what the circumstances are. Mark Brooks, 28. Hi, and now if you were being mistreated or abused by your spouse, there is the VAWA that you can look into getting. If you divorce and it was just nothing worked out before the green card, then you will not be approved because you're divorced. You no longer qualify to get it through the spouse. Mark Brooks, 28. How do you do citizenship? So you have to file the relevant forms, which would be the N400 form, and provide the evidence to show that you have been a permanent resident for at least 5 years. If you got the green card through a U.S. citizen spouse, and you have been married to the U.S. citizen spouse for 3 years, then that you could get it in 3 years. David Fraser, I didn't overstay my visa, but I'm getting married. Should I stay in the U.S. and file? David, that is a personal decision, and you want to be, what I suggest you do, if you're getting married to a U.S. citizen, say you came here, your circumstances change, you decide to get married, it's a U.S. citizen, then you could qualify to apply for the green card while you're in the U.S., even if you get to the point of overstaying. But, it really is a personal decision. One of the things I've seen is the spouse ends up frustrated because they have to wait for a month for the work permit, and they can't work while they're waiting, and so that can create some tensions. So you just have to be prepared to wait it out a little before things pay off. But that's going to come down to a personal decision, and always get legal advice before making any moves. Right now, you're in a good case scenario because you have the option of possibly returning home or not. And so you want to get legal advice at the point where you have both choices, and you can decide which one to go with after you get that legal advice. Can you travel domestically with your ID if you're in the process of getting citizenship and perm is expired? So yes, you would be able to travel domestically as long as you have the government issued ID or your passport. Paper Futuristic, thanks for following. How can I renew? Let's see. I just lost that one. How can I renew my U.S. residency? I'm in Jamaica. So with that one, if you're in Jamaica, I would definitely want to speak with you because, being in Jamaica may be problematic. How long have you been there? So give me a call. But usually you would renew it through the I-90 form. But in your situation, you're outside of the country, and we would want to make sure that's not going to affect your ability to get the renewal. Hey, so my dad sponsored my mom and my sister and me. So now my dad, so now my dad married my mom. Okay. So, you just want to make sure that everybody qualifies. If your dad is a U.S. citizen, you're under 21, and unmarried. Your mom is, all of you came in with a visa. Even if you overstay the visa, then, you could possibly qualify for adjustment of status. So you want to make sure that everyone qualifies to apply for the green card while being in the U.S. If you're outside of the U.S., then it would depend on your dad's status and your status, your age and your marital status to determine how long that process is going to take. Lalita, I applied online for U.S. citizenship last July 2020. Still no update on my status. Please advise me. So what you need to do is give them a call if you haven't already. Make sure there's nothing on your end. I do know that the older applications, I'm noticing movement on my end, but it really depends on the state that you've applied in. Some are moving faster than others, some USCIS offices. What you want to make sure is that you didn't miss any correspondence from them, that you don't have a request for evidence pending, that you're getting all the correspondence. So first thing you do is contact them to make sure your case is still pending and on track. Are you eligible for asylum if your sponsor filed for divorce? No, that is not going to qualify you for asylum. It's going to be based on whether you are fair returning to your country because you're a part of a social group, a particular social group that is persecuting you. However, if your spouse was abusing you, that may qualify you for the green card. Anish, if a person got kicked out of school due to a breakdown after her mom passed while visiting, so usually getting kicked out of school would not necessarily affect your immigration status. I mean, unless you have an F1 student visa, then that could affect you. So if that's the case, just follow up with me. David Fraser, I didn't overstay my visa. I'm getting married. Should I stay? So I believe I answered that. Motown 1230. My mom's green card expired 2009. Is it a big issue? She's here in the U.S. So I want to know her circumstances, but she could possibly just apply to get it renewed. But didn't get far. So Motown, have your mom schedule a consultation. Let's get into detail with her situation. Indib 88 NYC, but didn't get far. Can we start once we're married? I'm a citizen. My fiance divorced his ex-wife due to mistreatment. She started the green card application but didn't get far. Can we start once we're married? I'm a citizen. So generally speaking, you would be able to apply for your fiance for his green card, but I would want to figure out what is going on, what else is going on in that case. I'm just giving you general information, and it all depends on what's going on. So Wazifa Ali, thanks for following. What if you're applying for U.S. citizenship earlier, starting by the days you get here? No, so you wouldn't do it. You'd have to start from the time you became a green card holder. Can you sponsor a friend who was undocumented, was deported, but came back again? No, you wouldn't be able to sponsor a friend. It would have to be a family. Can a parent who holds a green card sponsor an adult unmarried child? Yes, absolutely. And it would take about 5 to 6 years. What's the worst that could happen if you divorce? Okay, so how can he get a court date? So it depends on what the situation is. It sounds like it's federal court. It may not be immigration related regarding that question about the court date. Aqualine Persad, you're welcome, and thank you. Thank you so much. So Sharon Davis, can I change my status if I have criminal conviction? You want to make sure that you get legal advice. Criminal issues are very complex and it depends on the facts. So get legal advice and protect yourself. Lalitag, thank you. You're welcome. Mag Datel. So with the citizenship, I would want to schedule a consultation. One can apply for citizenship at the same time they're going through the renewal process. So the question is, you didn't receive approval for 751. That's a conditional green card to renew the 2-year green card. Only the 551 stamp for 3 years. Can I apply for U.S. citizenship? It really depends. Generally speaking, if the 3 years has passed, you're still married, to your spouse, you can apply for citizenship at the same time that you're going through the I-751, but protect yourself, get legal advice before you make any moves. Aqualine Persad, even though I passed 21 3 months after the sponsorship, if not, how long will I get through? So Aqualine, if you pass 21, yes. Once you reach 21, then you're not going to be an immediate relative, and if you're out of status, you won't qualify for adjustment of status. You'll have to apply for a waiver, and it gets a little more complex. So make sure that you get legal advice. So is it difficult to get green card after overstaying? It just depends on how you qualify, Anish. Get legal advice. Mac Tatel, I have 50 months but still did not receive the permanent approval, only the I-5. So there is a backlog with the I-751. So yes, it is taking very long. So thank you everyone for all your questions. Today was a great day. Thanks for spending the Sunday with me. I'm here every day. So if you have a question, hang on to it, and I will answer your question in the next live. So go ahead and check out the link in my bio. Go to my website. You can call 561-405-4889 to schedule a consultation. Or you can also go to my videos. My number is usually plastered all over my videos. So you can go ahead and call that number. If you call right now, you're going down a little, you're welcome. If you call Sharon, you're welcome. If you call right now, you're going to get the after hours receptionist who will still take good care of you. They'll take your name, your number, and then the scheduling coordinator will get back to you on the next business day to schedule that consultation. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. You're welcome, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow as always. Bye-bye.